Beyond the Hustle: How Black Women Entrepreneurs Are Building Ecosystems, Not Just Businesses. Good morning, everyone. Today, I'm thrilled to share insights from my recent conversation with Joyce Useni, a visionary leader who's fundamentally reshaping how we understand entrepreneurship among Black women. Joyce isn't just a successful entrepreneur, she's a revolutionary architect of change who has dedicated her life to dismantling the systems that have historically marginalized Black women in business while simultaneously building new structures of opportunity and collective advancement. Her groundbreaking research and tireless advocacy have created pathways for thousands of women to transform their entrepreneurial dreams into reality. When we think about entrepreneurs, our minds often conjure images of lone visionaries, singular geniuses battling against the odds. We celebrate the individual hustle, the personal sacrifice, the solitary journey, the entrepreneur as hero, standing alone against a world of obstacles. It's a powerful narrative, one deeply embedded in our cultural consciousness. But what if this narrative isn't just incomplete? What if it's fundamentally flawed? What if the most transformative entrepreneurship isn't happening in isolation, but through connection? What if the future belongs not to the lone wolves, but to the pack builders? This is the revelation at the heart of Joyce Useni's work. She's shown us that Black women entrepreneurs aren't just building businesses, they're constructing entire ecosystems. They're not just seeking individual success, they're creating collective momentum. They're not just climbing ladders, they're building elevators and bringing others up with them. The data Joyce shared is striking, even shocking, when you consider the historical context. Black women now account for 89% of net new women owned firms established daily. Let that sink in. Despite centuries of systematic exclusion from economic opportunity, despite persistent funding gaps, despite continued underrepresentation in leadership positions, Black women are driving the majority of new business creation among women in America today. Their average revenues have increased by 2.7%, outpacing both their peers and overall market growth. But these aren't just statistics, they represent a fundamental shift in how business is being done, a revolution in entrepreneurship that challenges everything we thought we knew about success in the business world. As Joyce eloquently put it during our conversation, this isn't simply a story of personal triumph, it's about collective momentum, infrastructure building, and creating scalable opportunities for others in our community. What we're witnessing isn't just entrepreneurship, it's a movement that recognizes that true success isn't measured solely by individual achievement, but by how many others you bring along with you. A movement that understands that the greatest businesses don't just generate profit, they generate possibility. Joyce identified three key insights that I believe will transform how you think about entrepreneurship, particularly among Black women. First, Black women entrepreneurs are leading a shift from individual achievement to ecosystem creation. They're building networks that amplify access to capital, mentorship, and market opportunities, not just for themselves, but for others. They understand that in a world that has systematically denied them resources, the most revolutionary act is to create and share resources of their own. Second, despite the progress, significant disparities remain. Women own 35% of all employer firms in the US, controlling $3.9 trillion in revenue. Yet they face persistent funding gaps. Only 45% of requested loan amounts are approved for women. compared to 55% for men. For Black women, these disparities are even more pronounced. The system remains tilted against them, which makes their achievements all the more remarkable. Third, and perhaps most powerfully, true acceleration comes when challenges are transformed into competitive advantages. The resilience that Black women have developed navigating inequity has become a wellspring of innovation, leading to sustainable business models that uplift entire communities. They've turned obstacles into opportunities, not just for themselves, but for everyone around them. Let me share some real world examples that illustrate this ecosystem approach in action. The Women's Business Enterprise National Council Conference in New Orleans offers a compelling window into this new paradigm. This gathering brought together thousands of woman owned businesses, many led by Black founders who shared strategies for scaling impact beyond individual success. The challenges they faced were familiar: persistent funding gaps and underrepresentation at major industry tables, but their approach was revolutionary. Rather than competing against each other in a zero sum game, they focused on building alliances across sectors. They created mentorship pipelines. They advocated collectively for policy changes that would benefit minority owned enterprises. The results speak volumes. From 2019 to 2023, woman owned businesses outpaced men's growth by over 94% in firm numbers and over 252% in employment. Average revenues among Black woman led companies rose by nearly one third. Many attendees came from backgrounds where entrepreneurial support was scarce, but they leveraged conference connections to build robust support networks. They created collaborative ventures. They secured larger contracts through joint bids. They influenced local economic development initiatives. This isn't just networking, it's ecosystem building, and it's setting new standards nationwide. Another powerful example comes from Gray, a global banking platform that launched its Upgrade Her initiative. This program awarded grants to outstanding women led startups worldwide, including several led by African descended founders. These entrepreneurs face significant barriers accessing traditional finance and limited visibility outside their home markets. The initiative responded with a global grant competition offering equity free awards and virtual pitch events connecting founders with international investors. Nearly 2,000 applications were received globally, up from the previous year's Africa only focus. Four winners, all running innovative startups spanning fintech to climate tech, increased capital access without giving up ownership stakes. Many applicants had previously struggled with systemic biases, but used this opportunity as a springboard into global markets. Thanks to financial inclusion efforts tailored specifically toward underrepresented groups. They secured seed funding, they expanded operations internationally, they built cross border partnerships leveraging digital banking tools. This example showcased how targeted financial inclusion programs can help scale diverse enterprises rapidly while inspiring similar initiatives worldwide. A third example comes from broader trends in women led startup growth. According to Global Entrepreneurship Monitor statistics, women's startup activity rates have risen significantly since pre pandemic years, with particular acceleration among minority groups, including African American and Black founders. These entrepreneurs have historically faced a lack of representation within venture backed tech and startup spaces, along with systemic barriers limiting leadership opportunities even after launch. The solution? Community driven incubators focused on mentorship and new angel investment syndicates, prioritizing diversity. The outcomes are encouraging. Women now comprise almost one third, 31.7% of leadership roles within tech startups. That's a marked improvement, though work remains ahead. Startups founded or co founded by minority women show higher than average survival rates, due largely to network effects fostered through peer mentoring programs. Many successful leaders began as solo entrepreneurs facing isolation before finding community via grassroots accelerator programs designed specifically for underrepresented innovators. They launched successful products and services despite limited initial resources. They mentored next generation leaders who then paid it forward within their own circles. This has helped normalize diverse leadership models across industries while proving business viability isn't limited by background, but enhanced through inclusion focused practices. What Joyce Useni has illuminated through these examples is profound. The old model of entrepreneurship, the lone wolf, the solitary genius, is being replaced by something more powerful: collective action, mutual support, and ecosystem thinking. This shift isn't just changing who succeeds in business, it's changing how we define success itself. The very experiences that might have been seen as disadvantages, the need to overcome barriers, to navigate systems not designed for you, are being transformed into sources of strength and innovation. As Joyce puts it, resilience has become innovation as more Black women leverage their experiences navigating inequity into creating sustainable business models that uplift entire communities. For too long, we've celebrated a version of entrepreneurship that demands constant grinding, perpetual hustle, and often isolation. The ecosystem model that Joyce Useni describes offers something different: a path to success that includes rest, that values connection, that prioritizes community alongside profit. This isn't just good for Black women entrepreneurs, it's good for all of us. It's good for innovation, it's good for the economy, it's good for society. So I challenge you today: reject the myth of the lone entrepreneur, embrace the power of ecosystem thinking. Whether you're building a business, investing in one, or simply participating in the economy, ask yourself, how am I contributing to an ecosystem that lifts others as it rises? If you're an entrepreneur, how might you shift from competition to collaboration? If you're an investor, how might you look beyond individual founders to the communities they're building? If you're a consumer, how might you direct your dollars toward businesses that create opportunity for others? The future of business isn't about building walls to protect what's yours. It's about building bridges that connect your success to the success of others. It's about understanding that true prosperity isn't a zero sum game, but a network effect that grows stronger with each new connection. The revolution that Joyce Useni and Black women entrepreneurs across America are leading isn't just changing business, it's changing the world. And it invites all of us to participate in a new vision of success, one where we rise not by climbing over each other, but by lifting each other up. The question isn't whether you'll be part of this revolution, the question is how. How will you use your unique experiences, not just your successes, but your challenges too, to build an ecosystem that uplifts those around you? What step will you take today toward turning your obstacles into platforms for broader community advancement? The future belongs to the ecosystem builders. Will you be one of them?